So I posted an article a few days ago that's that talked about Sheryl Lee Ralph was going to perform the Black National Anthem at the Super Bowl, and I hear she did a good job of it. I haven't seen the performance, but I hear she did a good job of it. And I reposted a article. I reposted actually a video that I did back in 2019, September 2019, dealing with Colin Kaepernick, dealing with how Jay-Z did a backdoor deal with the NFL to undermine Colin Kaepernick, um, undermine Colin Kaepernick's protest. Okay, now we know that Colin Kaepernick um, had a protest where he was taking the knee and to protest police brutality. And Doug, can you hear me? Just come on air and tell me, can you hear me now? I don't have time to go back and forth text messaging. He had a protest where he took a knee to protest police brutality, etc. And he last played in the NFL. There was an unofficial banning of Colin Kaepernick from the league. And he last played in the NFL in 2017. Okay. So back in 2019, when the deal was announced with Colin Kaepernick, the deal was announced with Jay-Z in the league. Okay. I said that this was done to do a backdoor deal to bring the top acts into to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. All right. And I'm going to play a clip from the Facebook broadcast that I did. I did it on Facebook and YouTube. And it was a broadcast that I did back September 2019. All right. And I broke down on in that broadcast. And what I predicted was going to happen is exactly what happened tonight. And you have Rihanna, Sheryl Lee Ralph performing Lift Every Voice singing the Black National Anthem. Okay, you had her performing Lift Every Voice singing the Black National Anthem. So I saw this article here, board.com. And this is talking about Sheryl Lee Ralph. Okay. Sheryl Lee Ralph. I remember seeing her back in 1977, A Piece of the Action with Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier. That was her first movie. Sheryl Lee Ralph makes history with Lift Every Voice and Sing performance at 2023 Super Bowl. We know she just recently won, I think it was an Emmy Award for her role on Abbott Elementary. The Abbott Elementary is the first. Okay, we're on. Can you hear me? The Abbott. All right. All right, stand by. I don't know what's going on with the radio station. I'm on live talking. You couldn't hear me talking? I'm broadcasting the show. I don't know what happened. I'm on live broadcasting. People on Facebook and YouTube can hear me. All right. Stand by, everybody. We're having technical difficulties. I'm calling into the station live through Skype. I can hear the old broadcast from January that you're playing. I don't know why you can't hear me. I'm on live. You see me calling in through my Skype line, right, on the phone. I can hear the broadcast right now. Make sure you make sure make sure you have everything open on your end. I can hear the broadcast playing right through me right. Just play the theme song. Stop the old broadcast. I'll call right back. All right. Stand by. I have technical difficulties with the radio station. They're playing the old goddamn episode on my show. Hold on just a second. Shit. Hold on. It's not okay, just I gotta call the radio station and it's not letting me connect. Yes. 2482. This is the hold on, stand by everybody. God damn. Stand by. I'm trying to reconnect with the radio station. This is Michael. I'm trying to call in through Skype. It's not connecting. Hold on. I don't know. I was connected through Skype and I don't know why it's I don't know why it's not letting me connect now. Here, let me call in through the other number. Stand by everybody. All right. So while I wait for the break to come up in the radio station to get everything straight, what we're going to deal with uh, on today's show is I'm going to reference a video I did back in 2019 that dealt with Jay-Z's backdoor deal to undermine Colin Kaepernick's protest. I'm going to reference. Okay, so that's what we're going to deal with. Okay, so Sheryl Lee Ralph makes history with "Lift Every Voice and Sing" performance at 2023 Super Bowl. All right, now I want to show you some information. I'm going to play a clip of I want this everything straight at the radio station. I'm going to play a clip of this here. Now there was an article from there's a couple articles here that I posted in my broadcast. So I dealt with Jay-Z. What's not a clip then? Okay, Jay-Z's backdoor NFL deal to undermine Colin Kaepernick. Here's what it's about. Okay. And I talk about as part of its new long-term partnership with the NFL, Jay-Z's entertainment company, Rock Nation, has launched an apparel line and music project that will support programs under the league's social justice initiative called Inspire Change. But given the NFL's recent history on the issue, many people are skeptical of the move. Okay, so now this is what I did was in the video that I did, I posted some background information. So this is one of the articles that I posted. This is from the Huffington Post, and Rock Nation NFL spark criticism, music and apparel Inspire Change initiative. Colin Kaepernick tweeted about capitalism and the oppression of Black people after the news was announced. All right, so this is from August 31st, 2019. August 31st, 2019. Okay, this is from the Huffington Post. All right, so what I'm going to do is give you a little background information, and I'm going to play an excerpt of the video that I did on Facebook and YouTube back in 2019, and I predicted exactly what's happening tonight. Okay, and what's so interesting to me is that so many of our people are falling for this nonsense. Now, I was on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday, January 10th, and we discussed this briefly. So when we come back from the break, we're going to go to that clip. Okay. NFL and Jay-Z team up on music and social justice campaign. NFL and Jay-Z team up on music and social justice campaign. And what I said back then was that they co-opted Jay-Z. They had sagging ratings, and there was a sagging ratings when it came to the Super Bowl, people watching the Super Bowl. Jay-Z put the word out for the top acts not to perform at the Super Bowl, including Rihanna. This was a few years ago. Okay. And then what happens? They co-opt Jay-Z in 2019. And then 2023, who do they have performing halftime show? They have Rihanna. Okay. What I said was going to happen is exactly what happened. All right. Now we're on break at the radio station. Stand by. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation WFDF. I guess finally got stuff straightened out now. Stand by.
Imhotep. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We do current events and history and much, much more. We're going to give you an update on what's going on. This is about self-preservation. We have to extinguish the fire of white supremacy. See, that's just our consequences.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM, the Superstation WFDF. All right, we are live. It is Sunday, February 12th, 2023. It's Sunday, February 12th, 2023 is Super Bowl Sunday. You listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation WFDF. We are live. We have some technical difficulties with the radio station. So some of you all have been following me on Facebook and YouTube, and you know that today we're going to talk about Sheryl Lee Ralph performing at the Super Bowl, Lift Every Voice and Sing, Rihanna performing at the halftime show, and I talked about Jay-Z's 2019 backdoor deal, backdoor NFL to undermine. This is bigger than singing and playing football. We don't understand that we don't understand. And what I don't understand is why so many of our people are more concerned about being entertained than being empowered. I predicted this back in 2019. I'm going to let you hear an excerpt of the broadcast that I did in 2019, where I predicted all of this. And this dealt with the Super Bowl performance, 5 and performed, and it had very low ratings for that year's Super Bowl. And then the NFL co-opted Jay-Z in 2019, and I said this was to bring on the top acts so that they could increase their ratings. Okay, and this is exactly what took place. All right, we're going to clip number 1, Doug, in just a minute here from Roland Martin Unfiltered. Please cue that up. All right, you listen to the African History Network show right here on AM Superstation WFDF. Calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. Okay, so Billboard.com, I posted this article a few minutes ago on our fan page, the African History Network, on Facebook. Billboard.com, Sheryl Lee Ralph makes history with Lift Every Voice and Sing performance at 2023 Super Bowl. The Abbott Elementary actress is the first Black person to perform the Black national anthem on the field before the Super Bowl. Okay, now you've got 2 or 3 African-American head coaches in the NFL. The league is 68 to 70% African-American. You have no majority African-American team ownership in the NFL. Okay, you've had lawsuits like Brian Flores, his lawsuit against the NFL, alleging discrimination when it comes to hiring head coaches. But many of our people are content with being entertained. And we're more concerned about being entertained and Black faces performing at halftime and on the field, running up and down a ball up and down the field, and we don't own a single NFL team. Now, also, what we're going to talk about on today's show is the piece that came out, the study that came out from Boston University, which deals with 92% of ex-NFL players in this Boston University study have CTE. Okay, 92% of ex-NFL players in university study have brain disease that affects memory, behavior, and personality. There's an article from the Bleacher Report about this, as well as thegrio.com. We'll talk about that on today's show also. Then I want to discuss what's going on in Alabama. In Alabama, you had 300 high school students, largely African-American, in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, in that area. They walked out of class because they said an administrator at their high school, Hillcrest High School, told them that for their Black History Month celebration, that they should not deal with mention 3 prior to 1970. They said an administrator told them this. Okay, now they didn't say the principal said this or anything like this, but they said an administrator told them this. Okay, we're going to talk about this because one of those students was interviewed on The Last Word on MSNBC, and I want you to hear what happened there. Okay, then we know that Valentine's Day is coming up on February 14th. An African-centered American alternative to Valentine's Day is called Akoma Day. And Akoma, they deal with the science of soul mating, the sacred science of soul mating. Earlier today, Moncho and the wild that you hear. Also, we have cases as well. This officer text documents, and we had a great class of ancient Kemet. Class number 1, visit our website, TheAfricanHistoryNetwork.com, TheAfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and you can register for the entire 12-week online course. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. All right, so I want to jump into this for dealing with the Super Bowl, okay? And I want you to know I'm a panelist on Roland Martin Unfiltered every Friday. And at the end of the show, Friday show, February 10th, we briefly discussed the Super Bowl and who the 3 panelists who we had in the Super Bowl, etc. Okay. Let's go to clip number 1, please, Doug.
So, Roland, you know I haven't watched the NFL game since Colin Kaepernick left in 2017. I don't watch the Super Bowl. I'm not watching that.
You ain't watching the NFL game because y'all got an amateur football team in Detroit. Oh, man.
And that doesn't help. But that was called, if they were winning, I still wouldn't watch the NFL. I'm not watching that show. And exactly what I predicted back in 2019 when the NFL co-opted Jay-Z is exactly what's going to happen this Sunday. Remember, at first Jay-Z told the top acts, don't perform for the Super Bowl because of Colin Kaepernick's protest. I said when they co-opted Jay-Z, that was to go do a backdoor to Colin Kaepernick to go get the top acts, and who they have performing? Rihanna. I was correct. I would not be watching
That's
again.
who I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Rihanna. She's at the game. I'm rooting for Rihanna.
First of all, I'm stronger defense.
Stop it right there. Okay, you can stop it right there. All right, that's all right. So Roland said that Philadelphia is going to win. I really don't care. I really do not care. I'm more focused on African people being empowered than us focused on a game. And 92% of the players in this Boston University study have chronic traumatic encephalopathy, and 68 to 70% of the league are African American. Okay, and this was a study where they looked at 376 deceased NFL players. Okay, so that is not getting a whole lot of attention. That should get more attention really than who's performing also. All right, now I want to we're going to go to clip number 2 here, Doug, and this deals, you know what, we're coming up on a break. I'll go to clip number 2 after the break because I want you to hear what I said back in 2019 when I predicted all of this. All right, but let's look at this article because in my YouTube video, I included a couple articles, one from the Huffington Post and also one from the New York Times. This one here from the Huffington Post says Rock Nation NFL spark criticism for music and apparel inspire change initiative. Colin Kaepernick tweeted about capitalism and the oppression of Black people hours after the new program was announced. This is an article from August 31st, 2019. August 31st, 2019. Okay, here's what the article says. This is a brief synopsis of what the article says. As part of its new long-term relationship with the NFL, Jay-Z's entertainment company, Rock Nation, has launched an apparel line and a music project that will support programs under the league's social justice initiative called Inspire Change. But given the NFL's recent history on the issue, many people are skeptical of the move. Many high-profile commentators criticized the initiative as hypocritical, accusing the league of blackballing Colin Kaepernick for leading peaceful protests against social justice issues by kneeling during NFL game in 2016. The other show right here on Superstation WFDF, calling numbers 377-87600. 313-778-7600 is the calling number. If you want okey dope Negro sense, you got to listen to somebody else's show. That's not what we do here. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by. All right. You can support the African History Network, $ the AHN show through Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App and through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. Stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. Back from break in 4 minutes. Stand by, everybody. Back from break in 3 minutes. To register for our new more understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Class number 1 on Saturday, February 11th. We had a fantastic class number 1. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded, so you can go back and watch it anytime. Also, if you missed the free Black History Month lecture that I did on Saturday, that's archived. You can go back and watch that. Also, visit our website, TheAHNShow.com, TheAHNShow.com. Stand by. Back from break in 2 minutes. Back from break in 1 minute. Stand by. Back from break in 1 minute.
Nine ten, the Superstation. Detroit. The guests, the opinions, and the facts.
I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. Now, we deal with topics here on the African History Network show. We do a
Welcome back to the African History Network show at 10 a.m. the Superstation. Okay, The calling number is 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. All right. Before the break, I played an excerpt from Roland Martin Unfiltered, where I talked about how when the NFL made the deal with Jay-Z back 2019, this was to do a backdoor to Colin Kaepernick so that the NFL could bring on the top acts. We're going to clip number 2 here in just a minute, please. Doug, so cue it up at the 5-minute, 40-second mark, please. So we were talking about this article here from the Huffington Post. This is from August 31st, 2019, entitled Rock Nation NFL Spark Criticism for Music and Apparel Inspire Change Initiative. Okay, from the Huffington Post. On to say many high-profile commentators sized the initiative change hypocritical, okay, as being hypocritical, accusing the league and Colin Kaepernick for leading peaceful protests against social justice issues by kneeling during the national anthem games in 2016. That same year, Colin Kaepernick's organization, Know Your Rights Camp, began hosting camps for young people and teaching communities about their legal rights and police encounters. In January 2018, the activist Colin Kaepernick announced he completed his pledge of donating $1 million to organizations helping underserved communities. He has remained unsigned by the NFL since he became a free agent after the 2016 season. Now, Rock Nation said proceeds from the Inspire Change apparel line will support organizations that are focused on the league's efforts to address social justice issues such as education and economic empowerment, police and community relations, and criminal justice reform, according to a press release. Similarly, as part of the related music initiative called Songs of the Season, select artists will create music that will be used in NFL promotions. The songs will debut an in-game broadcast and will be simultaneously released to all digital streaming platforms worldwide. All proceeds from the songs will go toward Inspire Change. Okay, Carolina Panthers safety Eric Reed, he played for Carolina Panthers back in 2019, who was the first player to kneel in protest alongside Colin Kaepernick, has been a vocal critic of Rock Nation's partnership with the league. Eric Reed mocked the new initiative in a Twitter post. He said, "Let's diffuse the uprising of Black voices. Let's diffuse the uprising of Black voices demanding justice with concerts to inspire change that have nothing at all to do with real action," he wrote. "It's cool because our token Black guy set up the concert." Okay, he's talking about Jay-Z, the token Black guy. Okay, and exactly what I predicted in 2019 was going to happen and why the deal was made, that's exactly what happened today. Okay, now I love Sheryl Lee Ralph, love Rihanna, but I would argue that they're being used and they may not even understand how they're being used. I would argue that they're being used by the NFL. Okay, so let's go to we're going to go to this clip here. This is from I did this broadcast. This is from August. Let me see. Hold on. What was this? This was on YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. It's from was the day? September 2nd, 2019. September 2nd, 2019. Jay-Z's backdoor NFL deal to undermine Kaepernick. Here's what it's about. Let's go to this clip, please, Doug.
The halftime show featured Maroon 5 and Travis Scott. Okay, so leading up to that halftime show, or leading up to the Super Bowl, there was a lot of controversy around on to perform, and there were articles written about how the NFL was having a time attracting top talent. Okay, hard time attracting top talent. Rihanna said she wasn't going to perform. Party NFL Super Bowl party, but Super Bowl. Right? So people were complaining about terrible the Super Bowl performance, the halftime performance was, right? So I went back to do some research on this. I suspected what was going on, but I affirmed this. So let's look at this article here from CNBC, 2019. Okay, Super Bowl draws lowest TV audience in more than a decade. Early according to preliminary ratings figures from research firm Nielsen. This is AC Nielsen. The CBS broadcast, so the Super Bowl broadcast on the CBS network. The CBS broadcast on Sunday game between the Los Angeles Rams and the New England Patriots was watched by about 98.2 million people. AC Nielsen said late Monday. Those figures are the lowest since 2008, when 97.5 million people tuned in. Okay. Now, some of it may have had to do with who was playing. Some people may be tired of the New England Patriots. You know, some of it may have to do with that. But that wasn't the only reason why. These were the lowest ratings in 11 years. Okay? When you had top artists who said, I'm not going to perform for the Super Bowl because Kaepernick is being black. Okay? You had Cloud Super Bowl. On 13-3 in the Super Bowl in 53-year history. Rated for the fourth year in a row. In 2018, 103.5 million people watched the Super Bowl, which was down from the number in 2017 when 111.3 million people watched in 2017, and was down slightly from 2016 when 111.9 million people watched in 2016. Now, viewer figures peaked in 2015 when 114.4 million people saw the New England Patriots beat the Seattle Seahawks 28-24. So Super Bowl viewership has been declining for the past 4 years. But the 2019 Super Bowl, when you had the New England Patriots versus the Los Angeles Rams, that was the lowest viewership in 11 years. So if you understand anything about the Super Bowl, you know that this is this one-day sports event that has the largest viewership in sports, period. Okay? No other one-day sporting event has more viewership than the Super Bowl. So there's money tied to advertising when it comes to the Super Bowl, but also you have viewership that's been declining for the past few years of NFL games in general. Part of that contributing factor is Colin Kaepernick's and some people supporting his protest, but other people who are against his protest and don't like to see NFL players, especially African-American NFL players, taking the knee, various types of silent protests during the white national anthem, because that's what it is. The Star Spangled Banner, written by Francis Scott Key, September 13th, 1814, during the War of 1812. It was originally called Defense of Fort McHenry, and Francis Scott Key was a white supremacist, brutal slave owner who used his position as district attorney of Washington, D.C. to attack abolitionists because he was for slavery. This is who wrote Defense of Fort McHenry, which later became known as the national anthem, and I call it the white national anthem. This is why James Weldon Johnson wrote Lift Every Voice and Sing in the early 1900s, and that became the black national anthem because we knew the white national anthem was not for us.
Okay, pause it right there, Doug. Stop it right there. Okay, we're going to pick this up on the other side of the break. Now, that's what I said September 2nd, 2019. Everything I said came true, and it's been happening, and we saw the evidence of it today. That's why I'm wearing my Colin Kaepernick shirt. Okay. All right. We'll continue this on the other side of the break. Listen to the African History Network show, 9-10 a.m. Superstation WFDF. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by. Stand by. Back for the break in 4 minutes. From break in 3 minutes, everybody. Stand by. Okay, give us a thumbs up, give us a heart, give us a like on this broadcast. From break in 2 minutes.
The fire of white supremacy, see, elections have consequences.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 9-10 a.m. the Superstation. Okay, calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600. is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. All right. So we're going to go back to that clip here in just a minute that I was sharing with you. And once again, one of the articles I was citing as evidence is from February 5th, 2019, CNBC.com. This was the article that I was talking about in my YouTube broadcast from September 2nd, 2019. Super Bowl draws lowest TV audience in more than a decade. Early data shows Super Bowl draws lowest TV audience in more than a decade. Early data shows. This is from February 5th, 2019. Okay. Now I want to go back to this clip, and we're going to go back to it at the 14-minute mark. Let's go back to this clip, please, Doug.
Viewership keeps going down. We're reaching less people per dollar. We're reaching less people per $1 million, per $1,000, however you want to break it down. Okay. So, and then also this impacts the regular season, viewership of the regular season. All right. So what this whole deal, and I'm going to go through and provide the evidence. What the deal was with Jay-Z is to bring in a hip hop mogul. Oh, the other thing. If we go back and look at articles from late 2000, early 2000, especially early 2019, they're trying to figure out, okay, who are going to be for the halftime. Jay-Z came out to support Colin Kaepernick. And Jay-Z was on the halftime. So now what Roger Goodell, NFL commissioner, and what the NFL do is they go get the same guy was telling acts don't perform at the halftime show. They co-opt him, bring him in, and then they give him a deal to produce songs for NFL teams, produce songs, and also produce the next Super Bowl halftime show. And then also he's going to have a clothing line called, it's going to have a clothing line, and this clothing line is going to inspire change. And this clothing line, the proceeds from the clothing line, or at least some of the proceeds, are going to go towards social justice campaigns. Okay, so we're gonna deal with this. Now, what this is designed to do is the same artists, Rihanna, Cardi B, some of these other artists who are not going to perform at the Super Bowl. You're going to see some of these same artists who are going to be recording songs for the NFL, theme songs for different teams. The next Super Bowl, the 2020 Super Bowl, you'll probably see Rihanna performing there. You'll probably see Cardi B, Meek Mill, some of these other artists, okay? Because Jay-Z is going to say, it's all right now, you could come on in. I've kicked in the door, it's all right now, you could come on in. Now, Colin Kaepernick is still whiteballed by the NFL. Colin Kaepernick is still whiteballed. Even though he got a settlement, so what? He's still being whiteballed. Eric Reed, who was the second NFL player to take a knee, that was his teammate on the San Francisco 49ers. Eric Reed plays for the North Carolina Panthers. Eric Reed gets more random drug tests than any other player in the NFL, most likely. And Eric Reed spoke out against this deal, okay? And see, what I find interesting is Jay-Z talking about, this is the next step in the social justice campaign and Colin Kaepernick's protests and what have you. Well, how can you determine what the next step is? You ain't start this. You got to consult with Kaepernick to determine what the next step is. All right, so how's everybody doing? Okay, so let's get deep into this. So that's the intro. That's how much information I had. That's the intro. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to post some of these articles here. Once you go research this here for yourself, proper documentation is all conversation. You don't have to believe a word I say. Go research this for yourself, okay? And as I explained to people, you may have heard me say before, if we disagree, let's disagree based upon the facts and the evidence, not the fact that you don't want to deal with the evidence. Some people don't want to deal with the evidence. All right, so let's look at the second article here. And this one is from Huffington Post. So I looked at articles from Huffington Post. I went back and looked at one of the original articles written by SBNation.com, August 27, 2006, Colin Kaepernick's protest. These are my notes from one of my presentations. I've done lectures on Colin Kaepernick's protest. These are some of my notes from his protest. So I got direct from his preseason, 2016 preseason, 49ers versus Green Bay Packers. That was August 26th. Asked him about this because Steve Weiss said, in his preseason game, Kaepernick was sitting on the bench during the national anthem. He did that the previous two nobody really noticed. So the third preseason game, he was asked about it, and then all hell broke loose. All right. So when we look at this quote from Kaepernick, he says, "I'm not going to stand for a flag that oppresses black people." But that's not the full quote. The full quote is, "I'm not going to stand for a flag." The full quote is this: supremacy oppresses all non-white people. So it's not just African Americans that are being oppressed. He understands also it's Hispanics and others. Okay, so that's the full quote. People leave that off. All right, so let's look at this article from Huffington Post Black Voices. This one is from, this is the one I want. August 31st, 2019. Okay, so the press release came out the second press release came out August 29th. Okay, that was a Friday or Thursday, one of those days. All my days are running together. And let's look at the press release first, then we'll go to the article because the press release gives you more information.
All right, pause right there, Doug. Okay. All right. We're gonna pause it right there. So watch the full broadcast that I did. That's on my YouTube channel from September 2nd, 2019. And it's called Jay-Z's Backdoor NFL Deal to Undermine Kaepernick. Here's what it's about. Okay. That's on my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP. When we come back from the break, we'll discuss some of these other topics. We'll deal with a Boston University study that showed 92% of NFL players whose brain was analyzed after they died had CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. We'll see if they mention that on the Super Bowl. Listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Back from break in 4 minutes. Stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes, everybody. Back from break in 3 minutes. Stand by, everybody. Back from break in 2 minutes. Back from break in 1 minute. Back from break in 1 minute.
AM Superstation, a division of Adele Media. The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 910 AM Superstation or Adele Media. We got the topics, the guests, the opinions, and the facts.
I'm your host, Michael Imhotep. Now, we deal with a number of different here on the TheAHNShow, events of history and much, much more. We're going to give you an update on what's going on. This is about self. We have to extinguish the fire of white supremacy. That's just our consequence.
All right, here on 910 AM Superstation.
Network show. Okay, the call-in number is 313 7600 778 600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. All right. So we finished talking about Jay-Z and that backdoor deal that he did with the NFL to undermine Colin Kaepernick and Colin Kaepernick's protests. And we talked about Sheryl Lee Ralph performing at the Super Bowl. Babyface was scheduled to perform America the Beautiful. Rihanna performed at the halftime show. All right. And this is why they brought Jay-Z on. The top a few years ago, they had meetings when Maroon 5 performed, and Jay-Z put the word out to the top acts, don't perform, to support Colin Kaepernick, all of that. The NFL and Roger Goodell took action, co-opted Jay-Z, and we see the results. Now, question we have to ask is, how many times are we going to keep falling for this Simple Simon nonsense? Because I told you back in 2019 what was going to happen. How many times are we going to keep falling for this? And many of us would rather be entertained than empowered. This is why a lot of, it's interesting when I hear people who talk about what they would have done back during slavery, and they would have been with Nat Turner, they would have been with Harriet Tubman, things like this. A lot of these people, Harriet Tubman would have shot, to be honest with you, because they would have turned her in for the reward money. And half the people who saying what they would have done during slavery won't even boycott the NFL for Colin Kaepernick. And they're talking about what they would have done back during slavery. Okay, so let's look at this story that is not getting a whole lot of attention, but should. More people, I guess, are focused on two black NFL quarterbacks on two teams that no black people own, and no black ownership in the NFL, discrimination against NFL head coaches. But we're focused on being entertained in two black quarterbacks making money for white billionaires. Boston University study shows 92% of former NFL players studied had CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. This is from February 7th, 2023 from bleacherreport.com. So the long-term health of NFL players, and some people say the NFL stands for not for long, because the average career in the NFL is 3.6 seasons. Other people say the NFL stands for Negroes for lease. The long-term health of NFL players after the playing careers come to an end is a growing concern, and a recent study paints a bleak picture. A recent study paints a bleak picture. According to the Boston University CTE Center, the results of the quote diagnosed 345 former NFL players with chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, out of 376 former players who were studied, a rate of 91.7%. Let me repeat this. According to the Boston University CTE Center, the results of the study, quote, diagnosed 345 former NFL players with chronic traumatic encephalopathy out of 376 former players who were studied. That is a rate of 91.7%, or you round it up to 92%. Now, two of the players included in the study played for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs, who are facing off in Super Bowl 57 on Sunday. Former Eagles quarterback Rick Arrington, who played for the team from 1970 to 1973, and former Chiefs defensive tackle Ed Lothamer, Lothamer, who played for two of their Super Bowl teams in the 1960s, were both diagnosed with CTE within the past year. Now, on Friday, and that would have been, Friday, February 3rd. On Friday, February 3rd, the NFL announced that concussions increased by 18%. The NFL announced Friday, February the 3rd, that concussions increased by 18% in 2022, as 149 concussions were suffered across 271 games. Okay, that's largely getting buried also around the Super Bowl hoopla. Now, this is compared to 126 concussions in 2021. A series of concussions suffered by Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa caused the league to amend its concussion protocol. Ann McKee, director of the Boston University CTE Center and chief of neuropathology at VA Boston Healthcare System, noted that the study's findings, quote, do not mean that roughly 92% of all former and current NFL players have CTE. She also noted, quote, the prevalence of the brain disease can only be definitively diagnosed after death. She also added the prevalence of the brain disease can only be definitively diagnosed after death. The main causes of CTE were explained further. The biggest, quote, the biggest risk factor for CTE is not the violence of one or two isolated head blows, but rather smaller repetitive head impacts like those that a game or a season. Repeated blows cause a buildup of misfolded tau protein, TAUA, misfolded tau protein in the brain that is unlike the changes seen from aging, Alzheimer's disease, or any other brain disease. The Boston University CTE Center is set to publish its 182nd study on the disease. So check out this piece here from BleacherReport.com. Boston University study shows 92% of former NFL players had CTE. Okay, now I'm gonna switch gears here. I want to go to we'll go to our next story, which is out of Alabama. Okay, and we're going to clip number 3 here from the last word with Donald. And just a second, Doug. Oh, heard about we talked about this it. Alabama has, and this deals with the attack. So if we look at this article from, okay, hold on, this is freezing up on me. Let me refresh the screen here. So we should be back on Facebook. Let's look at this from alabama.com, al.com. And Joanne Reed also referenced this article on the readout on, I think it was Friday. School students walked out of class. We are disrespected. We are disrespected. We're 8th, 2023. Okay. So some Tuscaloosa area high school students walked out of class on me, and this would have been Wednesday, February 8th, after escalating complaints about a Black History Month production and alleged racism at Hillcrest High School. About 300 students protested a school administration that organizers said had promoted psychological trauma among Black students, Students claimed that an administrator said their Black History Month event should not mention figures before 1970. Now, they're not saying the entire school district. They're not even saying the principal said this. They said, and at a school administrator, meaning one person. Students claim that an administrator said their Black History Month event should not mention figures before 1970, a claim that school officials denied. Students also said they knew Black students who had faced stricter school dress codes and lower academic expectations. Quote, we decided that we needed to bring attention to some issues here at Hillcrest High School that school administration has failed to adequately address, said senior Jemiah Brown. She said this in a speech on Wednesday, February 8th, claiming some African-American students at the school were, quote, targeted and punished unjustly without justifiable reasoning. She said, quote, we are disrespected, and the administration has created a climate of intimidation. The administration has created a climate of intimidation and bullying towards those that challenge authority, she continued. She went on to say, when our parents seek to address these issues, the administration responds in a dismissive and hostile manner. The administration responds in a dismissive and hostile manner. Okay, now, students at the protest, some holding signs of Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, protested peacefully for about an hour on the lawn of the high school, according to WVUA 23 News. In an email sent to staff Wednesday morning, Hillcrest High School principal Jeff Hinton said he expected students to protest and asked teachers to, quote, respect their decision, end quote, to walk out or remain in class. Now, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is a figure that students say was discouraged from being included in the upcoming Black History Month program, among other civil rights icons and major historical events like slavery and Reconstruction 1865 to 1877. Now, Brown who is part of the production, Jemiah Brown, who's part of the production, says she was told earlier this fall by a white administrator, that the students should include more quote unquote current Black figures like Beyonce and that quote unquote old stuff made people feel uncomfortable. Revolutionary War in at this school because because the colonies didn't want Black people to fight in the war, and there were more Africans who fought on behalf of the British. They ran away from the colonies and fought on behalf of the British because the British said they were the first ones to say, if you come fight for us, we'll set you free. So do you all deal with the American Revolutionary War, or you deal with the discrimination that African Americans faced during World War I, and they came back home to lynchings, African American World War I soldiers, and then the same thing from World War II? We'll continue this on the other side of the break. Listen to the African History Network show on Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. Stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. 3 minutes. Back from break in 3 minutes. Okay, who still needs to register for the online class? Our new online class that starts up Saturday, February 11th. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. I'm going to post a link here. You can register for it at our website, TheAHNShow.com, TheAHNShow.com. Stand by. Back from break in 2 minutes. I'm breaking 1 minute.
I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We do recurring events and history and much, much more. We're going to give you an update on what's going on. This is about self-preservation. We have to extinguish the fire of white supremacy so you exercise consequences.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation, WFDF. Hey, right talking about this story of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Alabama.com has a story why 300 Tuscaloosa area high school students walked out of class. About 300 Tuscaloosa area high school students walked out of class. We are disrespected. Students claim that an administrator said their Black History Month event should mention figures before 1970, a claim that school officials denied. All right, now, if we look at, if we go back to this article here, okay, let's go back to this piece here. So in an email to staff Wednesday morning, Hillcrest Bowl, Jeff Hinton said he expected students to protest and asked teachers to respect their decision to walk out or remain in class. Now, students claim that an administrator said that their Black History Month event should not mention figures before 1970, a claim that officials denied. Students also said they knew Black students who faced stricter school dress codes and lower academic expectations. Quote, we decided that we needed to bring attention to some issues here at Hillcrest School that school administration has failed to adequately address, Senior Jemiah Brown said in a speech on Wednesday, claiming some Black students at the school were targeted and punished unjustly without justifiable reasoning. Now, Dr. King, when we look at that Black History Month program, Dr. King is a figure that students say was discouraged from being included in the upcoming Black History Month program, among other civil rights icons and major historical events like slavery and Reconstruction. Jemiah Brown, who is part of the production, says she was told earlier this fall by a white administrator, okay, one person, a white administrator, that students should include more current Black figures like Beyonce in the production, and that quote unquote old stuff made people feel uncomfortable. Oh, you mean like George Washington owning 318 slaves? You mean like Thomas Jefferson owning something like 200 slaves? You mean like the American Revolutionary War, where the colonies didn't want African Americans to fight on behalf of the colony in the war? You mean like the War of 1812, where the U.S. fought Great Britain and African Americans in the colony ran away to go fight on behalf of the British also, because the British said, we'll set you free? You mean like the discrimination that African American World War I veterans faced when they came back home after 1918, and then the next year was called the Red Summer of 1919? You had over 25 major race riots in this country because white men came back home and they couldn't find jobs because African Americans and immigrants were doing these jobs, and these white men brought back military skills and weapons from World War I, and they came and attacked African Americans in our communities. You mean stuff like that makes people feel uncomfortable? Jemiah Brown said she and her peers were frustrated by the administrator's comments, but didn't feel like they could push back at the time. But as more problems began to arise between the students and the administrator, word got out on social media. The NAACP local chapter got involved. Okay. That's what blew it up, Jemiah Brown said in an interview with AL.com, Alabama.com. Quote, it opened up other issues that we didn't know about. It opened up other issues that we didn't know about. Now, Hillcrest school leaders, however, have denied censoring the program. Quote, the Black History Month Unity program at Hillcrest High School is student created and student led, end quote, a spokesperson for Hillcrest High School told WVUA Channel 23 there in Alabama. it is not true that faculty or staff supervising the program that history included in the group create. Several community members heard this rumor, contacted Hillcrest High administration out of concern. Administration explained that this was false information that was circulated. Now, NAACP president, Tuscaloosa, Alabama NAACP president Lisa Young said that statement did not gel with what she'd heard from students during the past week. Quote, there are too many students saying the same thing for it to be untrue, Lisa Young told Alabama.com, AL.com. The students walked out to bring awareness to issues that they feel that the administration is ignoring, end quote. Now, this has opened up other issues. Now, let's get this straight. According to the students, it was one administrator. Who is this administrator? What's this administrator's name? Has the administrator been identified? Has the administrator been interviewed? Has the principal talked to the administrator? Okay, who, what, when, why, where, how? When did this alleged conversation take place? What was the date? What situation was it in? Okay, did you say that they should focus on more current people like Beyonce or what? How did all this transpire? Okay, where's the investigation? Now, in a series of community and school meetings over the past month, Jemiah Brown said she was made aware of several issues facing Black students at her school, where just over half of the students are African American and all administrators are white, according to state records. Okay, a little more than 50% of all the students at Hillcrest High School are African American, but all of the administrators are white, according to state records. Now, Jemiah Brown said Black students were repeatedly disciplined for dress code violations. Okay, even for wearing, and let me refresh the screen here. I don't know what's going on. Repeatedly disciplined for dress code violations, even for wearing similar clothing to white students. One of her peers, she claimed, was told she looked like a streetwalker from an administrator. Does the administrator have a lot of experience with streetwalkers? I'm just curious. Does the administrator have a lot of experience with streetwalkers? You look like a streetwalker. How many? I'm curious to find out how many white female students has the same administrator told you look like a streetwalker. And others, Jemiah Brown, were told they should drop by staff or punished without evidence that had done anything wrong. Now, quote, it's not just about the Black History Month program, Brown said in an interview with AL.com. The Black History Month program and the discrimination are two different problems. Quote, system leaders first acknowledged the controversy in a statement to Lowe's last week, which took note of the swift response from the community. Quote, we are thankful. So they're referring to the school system there in Alabama. Quote, we are thankful for a community who cares about our students, the school district said in a statement given to local news last week. Anytime someone in our community has concerns about the well-being of our students, we appreciate them coming directly to our administrators to discuss their concerns. We appreciate them coming directly to our administrators to discuss their concerns. Now, local civil rights leaders held a forum on Saturday for the students. Okay, so that had been Saturday, February 4th. The local NAACP chapter met again with students, parents, and staff at the high school on Monday morning. Lisa Young, president of the NAACP chapter, said she was disturbed to hear some of the accounts given by students about issues in school. I'm inclined to believe the administration at the culture of racial insensitivity that has created a learning environment for students, Lisa Young said. We'll continue this on the other side of break, and you'll hear from Lisa Young and Jemiah Brown. They were on MSNBC. You listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by. All right, back from break in 4 minutes. Stand by, everybody. Back from break in 4 minutes. Stand by. Back from break in 2 minutes. Back from break in 1 minute. Stand by. Back from break in 1 minute.
The Superstation, Detroit's only African American talk radio. And on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the guest.
Michael Imhotep. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network. Current events of history and much more. We're going to give you an update on what's going on. This is about self-preservation. We have to extinguish the fire of white supremacy. See, elections are consequences.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show. Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on that 10 a.m. Superstation WFDL. Okay, we're gonna go to clip number 3 here in just a second. Doug, we're going to clip number 3. All right. So we're talking about this story out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Alabama.com, AL.com has a story. Why 300 Tuscaloosa area high school students walked out of class, quote, "We are disrespected," end quote. Okay. And this is from February 7th, from February 8th, 2023, the article's from. All right, let's go back to, I want to go back to the story. Then we're going to this clip here so you can hear from Jemiah Brown and Lisa Young. Lisa Young's the president of the local chapter of the NAACP. Okay, so if we go back to this article, Lisa Brown said Black students were repeatedly disciplined, code violations, even for wearing similar clothes to white students. One of her peers, Jemiah Brown said this, one of her peers, she claimed, was told she looked like a streetwalker from an administrator. Now, local civil rights leaders held a forum Saturday, February 5th, 2023, for students. The local NAACP chapter met again with parents and staff at the high school on Monday morning. Lisa Young, president of the local chapter of the NAACP, said she was disturbed. She was disturbed to hear some of the accounts given by students about issues in school. Quote, "I'm inclined to believe that administration at the school has allowed a culture of racial insensitivity, that has created a toxic learning environment for students," Lisa Young said. Now, Lisa Young said the local NAACP and other community members supported the walkout, though it was strictly a student decision. No students were disciplined for protesting, she said. Now, on Wednesday evening, Superintendent Kerry Johnson said in a statement to Alabama.com that the school system supported the rights of the students to peacefully protest and claimed the district was working on a plan to address student concerns. The district is working on a plan to address student concerns. Quote, "A number of our Hillcrest High School students have concerns about the culture within their school. We care deeply about our students, and it is important that their concerns are heard," Superintendent Johnson said. Quote, "We are putting together a plan to make sure our students feel heard, so that we know the right steps to put in place to ensure all students know that they are valued," end quote. Now, Jemiah Brown and her peers are currently working with Lisa Young, president of the local chapter of the NAACP, to schedule a meeting with the superintendent, she said. Moving forward, they want to address ways to improve staff diversity, encourage freedom of expression, and ensure that all students have due process and are being treated equally to their peers. And if that doesn't happen, Jemiah Brown says she and her peers to rally against an upcoming tax vote, a major school improvement effort that the district has been proposing all year, and also take that energy to the next election cycle. Okay, so now they're talking about leveraging their power to now impact economics as well. This is another type of economic withdrawal strategy, or what Dr. King called redistributing the pain, in his last speech, April 1968. Maybe that's why the administrator didn't want you to talk about Dr. King, because if you read his last speech, you read the text of it, he lays out a blueprint to fight back with targeted, sustained economic withdrawal strategies. Now, Jemiah Brown said, "I just really hope that doing this today shows them that we are going to take a stance for doing things that are right," end quote. So far, the students' Black History Month program is still scheduled for at 9 a.m. 7:50 p.m. with a response from the school district. 100 why respected. Okay, now I want to go to this clip here from MSNBC, and let me just refresh this. This is from February 10th, 2023. Let's go to this clip, please, Doug.
Now it's Jemiah Brown, a senior at Hillcrest High School, who helped put the school's Black Month program together. She organized this week's walkout and protest. Also with us, Lisa Young, president of the Tuscaloosa chapter of the NAACP. I'm sorry. Thank you both for being here. Jemiah, let me start with you. Did you expect to see so many of your fellow students protesting alongside you?
No, it was a shock to me that many kids actually came out there to support.
And do you think that they'll keep at it with you? Because what you're saying happened truly is outrageous. So has it galvanized your fellow students?
I feel like actually more will come out and help. I feel like this will spark it, and I feel like more students will come out and participate and have a voice on the situation.
And Lisa, you're working with Jemiah and other students to schedule a meeting with the Tuscaloosa County Superintendent. What do you hope to get out of that meeting?
Well, when this sparked off, we started with a meeting, and in that meeting, which originally was about the restriction of the civil rights movement and slavery being included in the Black History program, we learned that there was a culture at that school of racial insensitivity. We have demanded that the superintendent meet with us to discuss this, but also the punitive measures that have been taken toward Jemiah, with her being restricted from participating in the Black History program.
And Jemiah, we just have a little bit of time left. What do you hope is the outcome here?
The outcome I am hoping to get from the walkout is for administrators to know that the student's voice matters. We have the right to express our culture. We have the right to fight for what we believe in, and we shouldn't be minimized, or our thoughts or the way we feel should be minimized in a place that used to uplift us and educate us and help us socially. It's our time to take a stand on what we believe in, and it's time for the school system to expand their mind.
Okay, so that was from SNBC. That was from February 10th, Friday, February 10th, 2023. All right, so we'll see what happens there. But I still want to know who that administrator was. What's the administrator's name? What was exactly said? Now, for those that care, I'm not one of them. The Kansas City Chiefs have defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 38-35 in Super Bowl 57. Chiefs dominate second half to win Super Bowl. So, okay, whatever. Now, let's go to the next story. I'm going to send you this clip here, Doug. This is clip number 4. And this is dealing with Akoma Day. So cue this up, please. So I spoke with the founders of Akoma Day, Mancho and Nawasha Edu. Spoke with them earlier today. And Akoma Day is a African-centered cultural alternative to Valentine's Day. All right. The full interview is at our website, Michael Imhotep on YouTube. It's also on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. I'm going to let you hear an excerpt of it when we come back from the break. And in the interview, we dealt with some of the Roman origins of the celebration today we call Valentine's Day, the pagan Roman origins, going back to the festival of Lupercalia and February as well. You listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, stand by. Okay, visit our website, TheAHNShow.com, TheAHNShow.com. You can register for my new online class. Started up Saturday, February 11th, 2023. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. It was a 12-week online course. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. Okay, so it's 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you missed the class, you can still register for it. Click right here, register for full course. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. We deal with different archaeological discoveries. Also, I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips. We deal with the African presence in the Americas going back thousands of years. So we do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch as much as you want to. Even after the course is over with, you can go back and watch the entire course. Then also, I did a free Black History Month lecture on Saturday, February 11th. We're doing them each Saturday in February at my online school. Visit TheAfricanHistoryNetwork.com for more information, TheAfricanHistoryNetwork.com. 12 noon to 1:30 p.m. If you missed Saturday's free lecture, click right here. And it's dealing with this year's theme of African American History Month, which is Black resistance movements, Black resistance movements. Okay, stand by. We'll be back from break in a few minutes. Back from break in 2 minutes. Back from break in 1 minute. Back from break in 1 minute. Stand by.
I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. Now, we deal with a number of different topics here on the African History Network show. We do with current events and history and much, much more. We're going to give you an update on what's going on. This is about self-preservation. We have to extinguish the fire of white supremacy. See, let's just have consequences.
Catch it all right here on 910 AM Superstation.
Welcome back to the African History Network show. All right, earlier today, I spoke with Monsho and Nawasha Edu. They are the co-founders of Akoma Day. Akoma Day is a 7-day African American cultural alternative to Valentine's Day. All right, and the full interview is on my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP, also on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. Let's go to this clip, please, Doug.
Tawata and
my show, Edu, to give us more information about this cultural celebration of Akoma Day. Yeah, everybody, how's everybody doing? All right, excellent. So I was giving people some information about Akoma Day, and we've had you on here before on the African History Network. And we know Valentine's Day is coming up, but people are wondering, okay, what does Cupid have to do with African culture and African history and Black love? So we know Akoma Day was originally created in 1997, then revived in 2001. But give us some background information on Akoma Day and the significance of the Akoma symbol.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're happy to be back, brothers. Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So basically, Akoma, the symbol that we are commonly calling the heart, we're miscalling it the heart. It's actually a divine symbol of African culture. And I think for Akoma Day, it's the most important thing to understand that this symbol that we see all through social media and all through the world is actually an African symbol that really represents the divine unity of our soulmating. So as you can see there, the Akoma is not a heart. It is not the organ that's in the chest that pumps blood. It is a symbol of divine unity. So if you look at the bottom part of the Akoma, you will see that represents the spiritual realm where man and woman are connected. And you see the two separate humps that reconnect. That represents the rites of passage and trials of life, like we say commonly today, hump day. And that man and woman coming from a spiritual center at the bottom, being literally connected as one being, separating, and then through their trials, through their education, through their life paths, reconnecting to point back to the center, which where a woman come from a man's rib or a man coming from a woman's. In patriarchal religion, we get it as a woman coming from a man's rib, but it was told in both directions. A man comes rib, and even today, we say that the wife is the rib of the man, or the man is the rib of the wife, or the backbone. It just read that we share bones, sinew, right? This all comes from this ancient symbol that had many, many concepts about it, but it is now popularized just as the heart to represent deep love, which it also represents that. But we want to make a distinction and reclaim our cultural symbols, especially in the celebration of love. So Akoma Day is about decolonizing concepts of love. So we're not romantic. We don't need Cupid. We don't need all of this new stuff that has come about, because since ancient times, we've had love poems, we've had love monuments, we've had the celebration of love, and literally Lupercalia, which is the Roman Greco celebration that later became Valentine's Day, is actually based on or a co-option of an ancient African celebration that was a week long. And this is part of the reason in our attempt to Sankofa that Akoma Day is actually a week long, celebrated from February 14th to 20th, to commemorate fertility and love around the planet, because it happens to be one of the most fertile, the most fertile time around the world. And so that's just some of the introductory symbolism around Akoma Day. But the first thing to note is that the Akoma is an African symbol that is not to be confused with the heart. And actually, we should give reverence to our that's correct name, and stop calling it and that's a big challenge for a lot of people, the way they've been, conditioned.
Okay, pause it right there. Okay. Doug, pause it right there. Okay, thanks. Okay, visit their website, AkomaHouseInitiative.com, AkomaHouseInitiative.com for more information on Akoma Day, this African American cultural festival. cultural celebration. Uh, um, that represent the secret soul service. 16 countries around the world. Okay. And also, you can watch that full interview at my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. All right. I want to from National Retail Federation. This deals with the type of money the Super Bowl generates on an annual basis. So National Retail Federation, NRF.com, holiday and seasonal trends, Super Bowl. Okay. Super Bowl 57, the latest consumer spending data from National Retail Federation and Proper Insights and Analytics 2023 Super Bowl survey found that 192.9 million U.S. adults plan to tune in to the big game. This year, 103.5 million, and let's blow this up here. This year, 103.5 million people plan to throw or attend a party, and another 17.8 million plan to watch the game at a bar or restaurant. Total spending on food, drinks, apparel, decorations, and other purchases for the days expected to reach 16.5 billion, 16.5 billion, or $85.36 per person. They have more data spending for the big game. They break this down. 192 million people, 192 million adults plan to watch the game. 16.5 billion will be spent. The game is also important to 42% of viewers. The commercials are most important to 19% of viewers. Now, I think a 60-second ad is going for something like $7 million as well. So this is the type of money being generated in a sport where African Americans don't own any teams, and you only have 2 or 3 black head coaches, okay, and we make up 68% of the league, all right, and they have singing and dancing, entertainment, and many of us would rather be entertained than empowered. Be sure to register for the my new 12-week online class that started up Saturday, February 11th, 2023. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa. Understand the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Visit our website, TheAHNShow.com. If you missed class number 1, you can go back and watch it. Sunday, February 19th, 12 noon to 1:30 p.m. I think it's 12 noon to 1:30 p.m. I'll be speaking at Gethsemane Missionary Baptist Church in 29066 Eton Westland, Eton Westland, Michigan, zip code 48186. The pastor is just John E. Duckworth. We'll have the information on our website, TheAfricanHistoryNetwork.com. It's my Black History Month presentation. You know, this year's annual theme for African American History Month is Black resistance movements. So I'll be speaking there Sunday, February 19th. We'll have the information on the homepage of our website, TheAfricanHistoryNetwork.com. It's open to the public. It's free and open to the public. All right, remember, right now, it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. Those watching on Facebook and YouTube, keep watching. We'll keep going for a few more minutes. Peace. All right, stand by, everybody. Okay, I want to squeeze in this last story here. Okay, this last story, this is an update dealing with Tyree Nichols. Piece from New York Times. Memphis police. Memphis officer texted photo of Tyree Nichols after beating. New documents show. Okay, this is from February 7th, 2023. And let me pull this up here. Okay, Memphis police, Memphis officer texted Photo of Tyree Nichols after beating, new documents show. And just a second here, let me pull this up here. So this is from the New York Times. More and more information is coming out each day in this tragedy. We still haven't heard any legitimate reasons why Tyree Nichols was pulled over in the first place. The revelation came in Memphis. Police documents related to the firing of 5 officers who have been charged with murder in Tyree Nichols' death. So as Tyree Nichols sat propped against a police car, bloody, dazed, and handcuffed after being beaten by a group of Memphis police officers, one of those officers took a picture of him and sent it to at least 5 people, the Memphis Police Department said in documents released by the state on Tuesday, February 7th. The documents painted a picture of repeated misconduct by Memphis police officers, starting in the first moments after Tyree Nichols was pulled over for a traffic stop, through an arrest carried out with excessive force, and continuing on through the many minutes when Tyree Nichols lay on the street in dire need of medical help. Sending the photograph to acquaintances, including at least one outside of the police department, violated policies about keeping information confidential, according to the documents. Okay, sending the photograph to acquaintances, including at least one of those acquaintances who was outside of the Memphis Police Department, violated policies about keeping information confidential, according to the documents. But police officials said it was also part of a pattern of mocking, abusive, quote unquote, blatantly unprofessional behavior by the officers that also included shouting profanities at Tyree Nichols, laughing after the beating, and quote unquote bragging about their involvement. The revelations came in internal affairs documents that the Memphis Police Department sent to a state agency, in which the department asked for the 5 officers who have been charged with second-degree murder in Tyree Nichols' death to be decertified, meaning they could no longer work as police officers anywhere in the state of Tennessee. In the documents, police officials described how the officers worked together as they severely beat Tyree Nichols, appeared to relish the assault afterward, and then made a series of omissions and false claims in their reports about what happened. Demetrius Haley, the officer who sent the photographs and who forced Tyree Nichols out of his car, also never told Tyree Nichols why he had been stopped or that he was under arrest. After Tyree Nichols ran away from the officers, several of them caught up with him a few minutes later and unleashed a series of punches and kicks while he was being restrained. And when one officer met with Tyree Nichols' mother afterward, the officer, quote, refused to provide an accurate account, end quote, of what had happened, the police officials said. Okay, so they have the recertification, they have the decertification documents here that you can read. Now, despite policies requiring officers to activate body cameras during, quote, all law enforcement encounters and activities, unquote, none of the officers' body cameras captured the entire incident, according to the documents. One of the officers, Emmett Martin III, at one point put his body camera in his car, the document said. That would be a clear violation of policy. He put his body camera in the car. I'm not sure if his body camera fell off and he put it in the car or what happened, but apparently it was not activated. Now, in reports after the January 7th assault, at least 2 officers said that Tyree Nichols had tried to grab an officer's gun a claim for which there is no evidence, according to the documents, while they left out details of the beating. Okay. All 5 of the officers were fired from the police department. They're all 5 African American as well, but they're acting like white supremacists in the mistreatment of African Americans. As was a 6th officer who was white, who had Preston Hempfield, who had fired a taser at Tyree Nichols as he ran away. Now, city officials said on Tuesday, February 7th, that 7 more police officers were being investigated for possible policy violations in connection with the beating of Tyree Nichols, who died 3 days after the assault. Memphis Police Chief Sheryl Davis, who is African American female, said, "We're still adding names to the list." She said this at a city council hearing on Tuesday, February 7th, in which council members sought accountability from police and emergency management officials. In the newly released documents, police officials said former Officer Haley had admitted to sending a photograph of Tyree Nichols to at least 5 people, including 2 fellow officers, a civilian employee of the department, and a female acquaintance. A 6th person also received the photo, the record states. Now, Mr. Haley's attorney, Michael Stengel, declined to comment, and lawyers for the 4 other officers did not respond to messages seeking comment late Tuesday. Interesting how they didn't want to comment. They didn't say this is totally false. My client is totally innocent. These are trumped up charges. My client didn't do this, and they didn't take an opportunity to say that and get that published in the New York Times. The state agency, the Tennessee Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission, received the decertification request on January 25th. A hearing has not yet been scheduled. Okay. All right. Read the rest of this article here from the New York Times. Memphis officer texted photo of Tyree Nichols after beating, new documents show. All right, if you like this type of information, you support the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App. Also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show. This helps us keep doing the research, stay on the air, keep broadcasting, pay some of the bills. It'll help me upgrade equipment because I have to get a new laptop. I need a laptop with a faster processor. This is an i5 processor. And it is not, processor not fast enough to handle the multitasking that I have to do to broadcast this show. Okay, so visit site TheAFricanHistoryNetwork.com, TheAFricanHistoryNetwork.com. Scroll down, you see information about the radio show. You see our social media handles as well, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. We have our links here for PayPal and YouTube. You can click on those to help support the African History Network also. And then register for my new 12-week online class that started up. The class is on sale $80, regularly $130. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understand the transatlantic slave trade. And we do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. So if you missed class number 1, not a problem. You can go back and watch it. Even after the course is over with, you still have full access to the class. And we have a bundle pack right here where you get both classes that I teach on sale for $120. That's the best value. You get 5 bonus lectures from me also. They'll be uploaded to the video library. Sunday, February 26th, class number 1 of From the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1800 to 1968 starts up also. Same format for that class as well. So visit our website, TheAfricanHistoryNetwork.com, TheAfricanHistoryNetwork.com for more information. All right. And you can register for the free Black History Month lectures that I'm doing each Saturday in February, 12 noon to 1:30 p.m. also. All right, look, we have to get out of here. Remember, the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora around the world. Right now, it's correct your own behavior. It's not over till we win. We're kind of forever. We'll talk next time.